Welcome back to the series where we take a look at the large and undocumented map of the Mario universe and try to place our favorite race courses on it. Today it's Mario Kart Double Dash's turn, a game which features a lot of interconnectivity between courses, where they tend to be visible in each other's backgrounds. And that means quite a lot of interesting results, I would say. Let's jump right in with the Mushroom Cup, which kicks off with Luigi's Circuit. Now, usually circuit tracks are quite tricky to place and talk about, but this one is a surprising exception. First of all, the layout of the track is so similar to Luigi Raceway from Mario Kart 64 that I'm inclined to say this might just be the same circuit. The surroundings are not a perfect match, but they're more similar than you might think. Plus, I also feel like it's worth noting that Luigi Raceway's Japanese name is Luigi Circuit. It could very well be an upgraded version. In the final turn of the track, there's also quite an interesting landmark visible in the background: Luigi's Mansion. And I don't mean the haunted house, I mean the house Luigi can build at the end of the GameCube game, the design of which depends on how much money he has collected throughout his adventure. The one we see in the background of the course is the A-rank version, the best one. While that would imply the A-rank ending of Luigi's Mansion is canon, that actually does not appear to be the case, as the opening of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon shows Luigi living in a rank D mansion. Still though, I feel confident in saying that Luigi's Circuit is Luigi's literal home turf, with his house or one of his houses not too far from where the races are held. Next up is Peach Beach, a name that may imply it is located in the Mushroom Kingdom, but once you actually lay eyes on it, it quickly becomes clear this course takes place on Al Delfino from Super Mario Sunshine. In fact, you could say the layout of the track is essentially a small version of the island itself. You start in Delfino Plaza, complete with Grand Pianta statue, continue through Rico Harbor, then enter Gelato Beach and end on Bianco Hills. Through that lens, you could say this gives the course a bit of an artificial vibe, as if the area was created for the Grand Prix to represent El Delfino, but we know for a fact that Peach Beach is actually a real location in the Mario world. This is all thanks to a bus in Mushroom City and Bridge that advertises for Peach Beach, which would make no sense to do if this wasn't a location you could actually visit. As for its location on a map, the old website of Double Dash outright confirms it's located on Al Delfino, which isn't a surprise, but still. It also points out the appearance of another course, Daisy Cruiser, which can indeed be seen passing by at the start of the race. Near that location is also a pipe launcher in the GameCube version, which was cut when the track returned for Mario Kart Wii. And finally, and this can't be a shocker, but I feel like we have to acknowledge it before moving on, this track is where the victory ceremony of Mario Kart Double Dash is held, right next to the statue. With that said, we can continue with Baby Park, a course set inside a theme park that is very obviously Yoshi themed, specifically the Yoshi series rather than the character. There's a lot to be seen in the background of this course, so I suggest we start our research there. We see attractions based on Baby Bowser, Kamek, Pucci and Shy Guys, as well as a helicopter Yoshi flying above the course, and in the GameCube version only, a Yoshi train. Both of these last two are power-ups from the original Yoshi's Island, which could be obtained by using a Morph Bubble. And since, as far as we know, Morph Bubbles are exclusive to Yoshi's Island, the location, that would suggest this course actually takes place on or near Yoshi's Island, although there are more possibilities. In the Mario Kart 8 version of the course, the hot air balloons that appear in Royal Raceway can be seen in the background, which suggests the track may actually be in the Mushroom Kingdom. And to make matters even more confusing, Decay Mountain can also be seen in the distance, which I'll go into deeper later, but that appears to be a reimagining of Donkey Kong Island. So yeah, plenty of options, but personally, I think it being located in the Mushroom Kingdom makes the most sense. Another interesting fact about this course is that it was inspired by the sport of short track, which is an ice skating race in a small circle. Game director Kiyoshi Mizuki came in contact with the sport during the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Olympics and thought it'd make for a fun course for Mario Kart. And right he was, if you ask me. The final track of the Mushroom Cup is Dry Dry Desert, and here all we really have to do is look at the name. Dry Dry Desert is a location that has previously appeared in Paper Mario, although technically the name has also been used in Japanese to refer to Calamari Desert from Mario Kart 64, Dry Bake Desert from Paper Mario Sticker Star, and originally Karakara Sabaki from the Super Famicom Japan exclusive Mario & Wario, which was developed by Pokemon creators Game Freak. So yeah, quite some history there, but most importantly for now, Dry Dry Desert is one of several Mario Kart tracks to take place in the same desert. We have reason to suggest it is a bit further away from the others though, due to the presence of the giant pit plant, which is unique to this course and has never appeared anywhere else, as well as the Sphinx, which was fairly nondescript in the GameCube version but was redesigned for Mario Kart 8 and dubbed the Hammer Bros Sphinx. It's even said to be cursed, allegedly. It's not often that we continue into the Flower Cup on a hot streak, but what did I say? Double Dash is perfect for a video like this. And the streak will even be extended as we look at Mushroom Bridge, which is outright confirmed to be in the Mushroom Kingdom, as revealed not just by its name, but also the website of Double Dash. To be fair, it doesn't take a genius to deduce that to begin with, as Princess Peach's castle is visible in the distance, and we know where that is, obviously. Mushroom City is also visible, with the roads we race on this track presumably leading in and out of the city. The most striking hazard of this course is the Wiggler Wagon, the large green vehicles shaped like the enemy which can be found on this course as well as in Mushroom City, further strengthening the connection between the two. A vehicle called the Wiggler Wagon also appears in Mario Party 9, albeit with a completely different design. But hey, the less said about Mario Party 9 vehicles, the better. Next in line is Mario Circuit, with the Double Dash 1 being the first to kick off a new trend where Mario Circuits would always feature Peach's castle in some fashion. However, as we have seen in previous videos covering later games, it is far from common for this castle to actually be the real deal. More often than not, it's a replica. That might very well be the case here again, as Peach's castle as it appears in this track is quite a bit different from what we see in Mario 64 and Odyssey. That said, it could also be an actual real castle, just not the main one. Peach having multiple castles doesn't feel unlikely to me at all. Further supporting that theory is the simple fact that the course we race on here features pretty believable surroundings for a royal castle, unlike say Mario Kart 8, where there are anti-gravity tracks everywhere. Here it's mostly grass, occasional tunnels and some dirt paths. It's really not that different from the surroundings of some real-life castles. Either way though, this track is in the Mushroom Kingdom and presumably a decent distance from Peach's main castle, I would assume, ironic as that is. Then we have a track we have already briefly mentioned, Daisy Cruiser. To the surprise of absolutely no one, this is a cruise ship belonging to Daisy. Shocker, I know. It can be seen at a distance of Peach Beach, Yoshi Circuit, Mario Beach from Mario Kart Arcade GP, and Daisy Circuit from Mario Kart Wii, meaning it presumably covers a lot of distance and doesn't just stick around the waters of the Mushroom Kingdom. While not a whole lot can be said about the course itself, it's simply a ship in the middle of the ocean, I feel like it is good to mention that the cruiser reappears in Mario Super Sluggers for Daisy's course. Here we play a game of baseball on the deck of the ship, where the finish line is on the racetrack, and we actually have to deal with a cameo hazard that didn't appear in the course, Gooper Blooper. He will occasionally jump onto the field, causing it to lean. Due to his presence in the Sluggers version, it seems likely that at that point in time, the ship is somewhere near Al Delfino, but whether that is also the case for Double Dash is simply impossible to say. And then we have it. After a streak of 7 straight courses, where a ton could be said about their locations, it comes to an end with Waluigi Stadium. We know this course is based on the stadiums used for monster truck rallies, but what happens outside of the venue, we simply don't know. There is nothing visible or even modeled there, and due to Waluigi's weird standing in the Mario world, we can't really make any guesses either. The only thing worth mentioning about the track before we move on is that in the original GameCube game, the audience consisted of a whole bunch of Toadwurfs and Donkey Kong Juniors, which obviously should be very much impossible, but also perfectly showcases that unlike other tracks, keeping this one in line with the grander Mario world wasn't really a top priority. Next up is the Star Cup, which kicks off with Sherbet Land. I'm willing to bet that at least 90% of people familiar with that name will know it from Mario Kart, either from this track or from its predecessor in Mario Kart 64. And if you're that one guy that knows it from Mario Hoops 3-on-3, congratulations, you've won my respect. But believe it or not, Sherbet Land actually originates from the Wario series, being a secret world from the original Wario Land, from when it still had the subtitle Super Mario Land 3. In this game, it is portrayed as a floating iceberg off the coast of Kitchen Island, the setting of the game and home base of Captain Syrup and our brown sugar pirates. Just like in Mario Kart, it is ice-themed and features a lot of water. The final boss is even a penguin, which may not appear in the Double Dash variant of the track, but very much do in the Mario Kart 64 version. Point being, Sherbet Land is a Wario-based track, far away from any place Mario has ever visited. and that is something I doubt many fans even realize. Then we have Mushroom City, where I won't waste your time and keep things short, since not a whole lot can be said about this course that I hadn't already mentioned for Mushroom Bridge. They're right next to each other after all, although Mushroom City can also be seen in the background of Wario Coliseum and Rainbow Road, confirming these courses are all in close proximity of one another. Furthermore, the website for the game reveals the area of the city we race on is downtown, which is not super helpful all things considered, but it at least gives us a bit of an idea of how the racetrack itself relates to the rest of the city. We continue with Yoshi Circuit, which is really not all that Yoshi themed all things considered. It's in the shape of a Yoshi, obviously, but besides a couple of Yoshis as an audience next to the track, and another appearance of the Yoshi helicopter just like in Baby Park, there are really not that many references to the dinosaur or his sub-series here. Daisy Cruiser does show up in the background though, as mentioned earlier. As far as the location of this course goes, I would be absolutely shocked if this island was naturally formed. It has to be artificially created, which admittedly doesn't say much about its actual location, but I don't know, it feels more likely for such a project to be undertaken near the Mushroom Kingdom, which we know actually has governance and financial strength, rather than something like Yoshi's Island. And for the final course of this cup, we have DK Mountain, which is a bit of a weird one in the sense that it feels very likely to be on Donkey Kong Island, but when looking at the locations side by side, it doesn't seem like much of a match. DK Island simply isn't that big, and while it does have a mountain similar to DK Mountain on it, it resembles Donkey Kong's head quite closely, which the racetrack doesn't do. As such, it seems more like a reimagining of the island rather than the actual place, similar to Peach Beach's relation to El Delfino, with the track being visible in the distance from not just Baby Park, but also Dino Dino Jungle further complicates things. And while we're on the topic, let's move Dino Dino Jungle one spot up and discuss it here, because it actually factors in pretty heavily. Unlike with DK Mountain, I am 99% certain this course is located in Donkey Kong territory. Or Diddy Kong territory rather, as in my eyes it is based on Dino Domain, the first world of Diddy Kong racing. Not only does the theme match, Dino Dino Jungle is listed as Diddy Kong's home track in the internal data. Furthermore, the sauropod that prominently appears here, Noshi, has never appeared outside of this track, suggesting it's not native to the Mushroom Kingdom and found somewhere we rarely revisit, like Dino Domain. That would then mean that DK Mountain is also somewhere near DK territory, making a reimagining of Donkey Kong Island all the more likely. And Baby Park would then presumably be near the water that separates the Mushroom Kingdom from the Donkey Kong region. And with that, we can go into the Special Cup proper now, with Wario Coliseum next on the list. Well, at first sight, this track feels like another Waluigi Stadium situation, where it is set entirely indoors and thus impossible to place. Like I mentioned before, Mushroom City is actually vaguely visible in the distance outside Wario Coliseum. It leads me to believe this arena is most likely not in the city itself, but just outside it, which is quite common for stadiums of this size. They're hardly ever in the city center. And that then leaves us with the traditional final two tracks, which may be the climax of the game, but usually are not for these videos. First, Bowser's Castle Double Dash Edition, which falls in line with the rest of the game and actually has a lot to talk about, at least as far as Bowser's Castles go. Because unlike the others, which are usually just a somewhere in Bowser's Kingdom and that's it, this one actually has recognizable landmarks in the background. These mountains are quite striking and also seen in the Broken Pier course of Mario Kart Super Circuit. Now, the problem is that Broken Pier is one of the few courses of the GBA game that is yet to reappear, meaning it hasn't had its 3D redesign and we don't really have anything to go off. All we know is that GameCube Bowser's Castle is near Broken Pier, which isn't too much information all things considered, but I've covered Bowser's Castles with less to them. And finally, Rainbow Road. In comparison to later editions of this track, this version is surprisingly low up in the stratosphere, but Mushroom City is still quite close by beneath the track. Although, it is only visible in single player mode. If you play split screen, the course is set in the vast depths of space, presumably to save on resources. Still though, it's pretty obvious the single player location is meant to be the actual one, which places it right above Mushroom City and thus the Mushroom Kingdom. And with that, we have passed the finish line. What are your theories on where these courses take place? Share them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all my future Mario content coming up. For now, Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.